Ooh, girl. If only y'all knew all I just went through just to get ready for this video. I mean, hold on, let me eat my eyes. One thing I can say I've learned is that the devil gets really, really busy when you're ready to do something that's going to elevate you in some way. Just getting ready for this video, it took way more than it should. Uh, just getting dressed, and it's like every single flaw is like pointed out because I'm about to get on camera. So the more I think about it, the more I worry about things that you guys probably won't even notice or see. We're crazy like that, you know? And then every little thing is like, oh, I want this background to look right. I want this to look right. I want that to look right. I want the lighting to look right. I want these ring lights to stop appearing in my glasses. And so I'm over here freaking out. And there's really no point in doing all that. Girl, it's going to be what it's going to be, right? We got to stop striving for perfection all the time and just do it. Because y'all are here for the message, not for the aesthetics, I hope. All right, so let's get into it. So today I wanted to do a video that actually introduces myself because I feel like I kind of jumped on the YouTube and I started putting out vlogs, I started putting out business tips, things like that, but I never really introduced myself to you guys. So, hello, allow me to reintroduce myself. So, first, let's start there. My name is, not Hove, but my name is Chineze Rodnique. And a lot of you knew me as Mahogany for many, many years. It's been my nickname really since high school. So a lot of people know me as Mahogany. And it wasn't until really like last year that I decided, you know what, I'm going to stop hiding behind this nickname and really show up authentically, really just be me. And one of the reasons that I had kind of stopped using my name back in high school is because it can be very annoying to have to constantly tell someone how to pronounce your name. And my name is always mistaken for Chinese because of the way it looks. It looks like Chinese with a Z. But it's Chineze, not pronounced anything like that. So I got tired of having to do that with every new teacher, every new person I meet, every delivery person or anything like that. I get tired of explaining what my name is. And then, especially when I'd explain it, and they still wouldn't say it right. So, so I'm either going to be Chinese, I'm going to be Shanice, I'm going to be Chineze, I'm going to be Chinese, I'm going to be all kind of things except Chineze. But last year, when I finally decided that I wanted to be authentic and start showing up in my business and showing up more on things like this, like YouTube, I want it to be me. I want my name on it. I want that feeling of knowing that that was created by Chineze Rodnique. So Chineze was given to me by my mom, and it means God's messenger. It is a Nigerian name. We are not Nigerian, but the name is, and I love the meaning behind it. And my middle name, Rodnique, was given to me by my dad. He wanted to have a part of him in my name. I think secretly he wanted a boy. And his middle name is Rodney, so he chose to combine Rodney and Monique to make Rodnique. So that's me, Chineze Rodnique. So yeah, like I said, this whole video is just going to be about introducing you guys to myself. So I'm going to take you through my life from childhood all the way up until now. And try to condense it as much as possible so it's not a really long video and you guys don't get bored and click off of me. So yeah, let's get into my childhood. So I think I had a pretty good childhood. Not too many complaints, of course, some little things here and there, but nothing worth, doing a lot of deep diving into shadow work or anything like that. I grew up mainly with my mom, a single mom, and we lived in a few different places. I was originally born in Tallahassee. We moved to Orlando when I was in third grade, and I was there for majority of my childhood. We did move to Connecticut for 2 years in the middle of my middle school, high school time. It was like seventh, eighth, and a little bit of ninth grade, I believe it was. But then we moved right back to Orlando. So Orlando is where I really call home, but Tallahassee is where I am actually from. Um, During my childhood, I pretty much knew from the beginning that I was going to be an entrepreneur. When people would ask me, what I want to be when I grow up, after I got older, than like five, I think 5 and 6, I wanted to be a teacher. That was my thing, which technically I guess I kind of am now. But um, after that, I always knew that I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I know I'm going to be at home. And it's so weird when I think back on it now because I don't even think we had laptops at that time. But somehow I always had this vision of myself working on a computer at home doing my own thing. But I just didn't know what my own thing would be. I've always assumed that I'd be an entrepreneur because that's what I was born into. My great grandmother was, she owned a daycare. She owned, I think before I was born, her and my grandfather actually owned a car dealership. My grandmother was a beautician. She did hair. She had her own shop. She also liked to sew and design dresses for her church lady friends. She made wedding dresses. She did bridesmaids dresses. Oh gosh, she did so much. I can't even think of everything. She made jewelry. Um, and she was a singer as well. So everything that she did, now I'm not going to say that she never had a 9 to 5. She did work at the hospital, but she always had a side hustle. And then my mother, she was always trying to find that thing that was going to hit for her. So she did a lot of multi-level marketing. She sold black art. She sold Primerica insurance. She sold body shapers when those first came out with, we were actually I joined under her team and we were actually under Stormy Wellington with the, what was that company? Artists, the Body Magic. So we did that. But watching these ladies always start and grow their own businesses really made me feel like that's just what we do. I feel like a lot of times when we grow up in a certain environment, that can determine the possibilities that you see in your life. And so I think for some people that have never seen entrepreneurs on that daily grind, it may seem like it's something that's unattainable. But for me, it was the working 9 to 5 and having to clock in for someone else's schedule that was weird to me because I didn't see them doing that on a regular basis. So yeah, childhood, always knew you're going to be an entrepreneur. Working on a laptop, working on some kind of computer at home, just didn't know what I was going to do. And another thing my mom always told me that as a child, I always loved to plan. I was always writing things down, planning things out, how we're going to do this, what party we're going to do, things like that. So I definitely got that honest as well. So I say all that because it's going to come full circle at the end of this. So there's a reason for my madness. I know I'm all over the place. So then we get into my 20s. I actually became a mother at the age of 18 and a wife, actually. At the age of 18, way too young to be getting married. But my 20s kind of revolved around raising my daughter and learning how to navigate through relationships. And I bring this up because I think this is a time that I noticed that I allowed relationships, other people, outside forces to hinder my progress in my entrepreneurship journey. So like I said, I've always known I was going to be an entrepreneur and I've always planned to be one. So I hit the ground running as soon as I was 18. I think 18 is when I started my Mary Kay business. I tried a few different multi-level marketing companies at that time, but my thing was always I wanted to make it my own. And that's kind of frowned upon, or at least it was back then. I think now they're a little more lenient and they allow you to kind of create your own business around their business. But back then it was very strict. You use our logos, you use our name, you promote in this way, the prices have to stay the same, which I think that part's still the same. All of that. Hold on one second. They normally come in threes, so give it a second. All right, I think we're good. Okay. So I always wanted to make it my own, and that's where my issues would come in with me trying to come up with my own promotions, my own way of selling the product. I didn't really like doing the home parties and having to go to other people's houses. I got a thing about people's energy and going in other people's houses. That's a whole nother story, y'all. But so I didn't like that part of it. So I always would hit that brick wall when it came to promoting those type of products. So then I moved into trying to do my own thing. My very first business of my own was a children's birthday party service. I loved it. I think I was like 21 or 22. And I decided that from being a mom, I realized, and with my daughter's birthday parties, again, I love to plan and I love decor and I love things like that. So I would always go all out and make all these activities for the kids to play and things like that go along with the theme. I was very, very methodical when it came to my baby's birthday parties, right? So the one thing that I started to notice, though, by her third, maybe fourth birthday, is that I was never included in the pictures. And if I was included in the pictures, I looked a hot ass mess. And it was because I was ripping and running all day. I woke up that morning, I started, getting things ready for the party. Then I started getting her cute. And then I started, finishing the food or getting the food laid out and making sure that the guests were coming in okay and making sure they're okay. And next thing I know, I never had a chance to actually go and put my face on or do any of the things that I would normally do before interacting with people at a party. So I'd end up looking crazy in my baby's pictures. So it hit me that this is obviously something that other mothers are going through as well. So I came up with my children's birthday party business as a way to allow moms to enjoy the party and let me and my team come in, handle all the decor, all of the food, all of the games, play with the kids, everything that, goes into it. So that was my first business, and it really started to take off. People really were enjoying the concept. I lived in Tallahassee at this time, which is kind of a small town. It's hard to get things going there, but it was starting to take off. People were really liking it. I was booking people every weekend. Got to the point where I was actually booking 2 or 3 parties a weekend, and it became so overwhelming. 22-year-old me didn't know anything about running a business. So I had no idea how to hire other people to come in and help me, how to delegate those tasks, how to handle that influx. So my customer service started to go down a little bit because I'd be late to this party, trying to hurry up and clean from this party to get out. And one thing about me, I'm big on customer service. So when my customer service started to go down, I just felt like I couldn't sustain it. Also during this time, I was in 2 different relationships. One was my first serious relationship, and I'm always careful with how I say it because I don't feel like I was abused in any way, but there was a lot of emotional stress. Let's use that word. Within that relationship, and it would stop me from working on my business when I needed to. I'd spend, nights crying in bed instead of nights planning out what our next step should be or figuring out how to get employees, things like that. I ended up leaving that relationship and got into another one, and things were pretty good in the beginning, and that's when I feel like I soared the most. But then when things started to go bad, I noticed that same trait again. I'm going to stop there because I feel like I've skipped something and I don't want to go. I have my little notes over here, you guys. I don't want to go too deep into relationship stuff because girl. But so I noticed, though, that relationships could affect my progress in my businesses if I allowed them to, from those 2 relationships. I can say from that first relationship, though, I learned a lot when it comes to being an entrepreneur, and I learned a lot about financial. Um, he provided a lot of financial education, I'll say, on how to save money, how to make sure you have your 401k so that you can use that later when you want to start your business or leave your job and things like that. I learned a lot from him there, and I'm very thankful for that. We also started a business together. So this is now my second business, and I loved it. It was, it was two separate businesses, let's say that. So we didn't start one together. I helped him start his business, which was Takeover Productions. And he was creating a hip hop documentary and also doing filming for independent artists. And in his business, I realized there was a lack or a need for models to be in videos for independent artists and promoting things for clubs and things like that. So once I noticed that opening, I jumped on it and I created I created my modeling team, Blue Sapphire. And I think this is where I really learned how to work with other people, how to get people to buy into your company's culture, how to work with a big team of girls, how to handle all those different personalities, and definitely learned a lot there. But it was definitely one of my most enjoyable businesses. Being able to promote at the clubs, you're in your 20s, you're the cool person, you're the one that gets to walk past everybody that's in the line, me and my line of girls, my models, walking into the club. So it was a very fun business, I can say that. And I learned a lot from that business as well. Back then, my issue, things get too successful and I had no idea what to do to maintain them, and fear would click in and say, girl, this is too much for you. Maybe you need to let this go and find something a little more low key, you know? So with the birthday party business, like I said, too many clients. How could that ever be an issue? But I had too many clients, couldn't figure out how to get my scheduling together, couldn't figure out, or didn't even think about hiring someone else. That's how bad I was. Didn't even think about the fact that you could just hire other people to be the birthday party people, Didn't even think of it. My modeling business started to take off and I had no idea how to manage the finances. When you're dealing with such a big team, I didn't know, how do I divvy out this money from, this club promoter pays me for the girls to be there, and then how do I split that between 10 women and also have a profit for the business to make sure that I can continue to do our photo shoots and our promotions and get their names out there. And I think at that point I was working on a website and things like that. So once again, success came and I didn't know how to handle it. And I didn't have the people around me that could tell me what to do. Probably could have asked people in my family. Like I said, they were entrepreneurs, but didn't even think to, just felt like, maybe it's not for me to figure out. So unfortunately, those are two businesses that I decided to dissolve. And I think around that time, we're moving closer into my 30s. That's when my daughter's getting older. Bills are super important. Being stable, creating that stability for her became more important to me, I think, as a young mother in my 20s. Of course, it was important, but it wasn't as important as it should be. I always knew I had somewhere I could fall back on. So if I didn't, if I wasn't able to keep this apartment or if I wasn't able to keep the lights on, I can just go to my grandma's house and I know I'm good. In my 30s is when I grew up, matured, and realized that no, girl, you got to get this shit together yourself. You shouldn't be moving out of places before the lease is up, and you shouldn't have the lights going out and things like that. So into my 30s, I was in a more, I'll say, stable relationship, in a more stable situation. But my relationship came with a lot of stress, a lot of emotional, and this time we're not even going to say emotional stress. That was emotional trauma, baby, trauma. And again, I found myself not able to focus, found myself not able to even come up with what should I be doing to get back on my entrepreneur journey. So yeah, I became very complacent. I became very confused, and I focused a lot of my energy on that relationship, trying to convince someone to love me the right way or show my worth. And I put all of my energy into that. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know anything, and I didn't care. At that time, it was just, how can I get this person to love me? And let me just work this 9 to 5 so we can pay these bills. That was my life. And I kind of gave up on entrepreneurship, or at least just stopped thinking about it. I won't say gave up. As I began to grow, and as I began to realize that happiness did not live here at all, and I started to realize that this was a relationship that I needed to let go of, I started to say, okay, what do we need to do to start working on something for ourselves? And it's crazy because at this point I had been at my corporate job. I climbed the ladder. I was, in management. I was enjoying it to an extent. My manager, things like that weren't so great. So there was always, like we typically say, oh, I can't stand this job. I can't wait till I can leave this job, things like that. But I got to a point where I was like, girl, it's time to really leave this job. We've been here 10 years. We've been in this relationship 10 years or more. At that point, we are just stagnant. We're just here. We're just doing the same thing every day, the same motions, doing absolutely nothing to get ahead, to fulfill that dream that we had as a kid. And so it might have been a rational decision at that time. I'm not even sure. I think my boss was getting on my nerves so damn much, and my relationship was getting on my nerves so damn much that it was kind of like one of those cut your hair moments. And actually, I did cut my hair that year too. But it was just like, I'm done with everything. Just fuck it all, so I decided this is the year I'm going to put in my 2 weeks. I'm going to put in my 2 weeks notice, and I'm going to use my 401k that I started at the beginning of, starting with this business. I'm going to, take that money out. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to pay my bills up for a year. And then I am going to start a business. Still no idea of what I really wanted to do. Again, I just know I want a business. I don't know what that business is, but I just know I want to start one. So I come up with the plan of, we're going to put in these 2 weeks notice, and then we're going to start cosmetology school. And through cosmetology school, I was going to start my children's birthday party business again, but differently. This time it was going to be all about a spa party for little girls, and kind of making my mark that way. Now, I love cosmetology. I think I thought I would love it more because, like I said, my grandmother was in it, for one. Hold on. Like I said, my grandmother was a cosmetologist, and so I think I assumed that would be something that I love because she did, and then also because I love everything girly. If it has to do with makeup, if it has to do with nails, I know I don't have any on today, y'all don't, whatever. Nails and makeup and hair and all of that, I'm all in. I love it. So I assume that, they always say, find something you're passionate about. I'm definitely passionate about those things. So this must be the avenue for me. So I went to cosmetology school. It's definitely fun. I met some crazy ass people. We had some crazy ass times. I love it to death. So glad that is a part of my journey. And unfortunately, though, it just wasn't for me. When I got out, I did work as a nail tech for a while. Never really got really good at acrylic. So that's one reason I knew, maybe this isn't my passion. One thing about a Virgo, if we can't perfect it, we don't want to do it, because we got to be perfect at it. Okay. So never really perfected that, but I was good when it came to pedicures, and that became my thing. I was doing pedicures all day, every freaking day, you guys. And at the first salon that I worked at, They wanted you to work like 11, 12-hour days, 7 days a week. Because their thing was, I don't know why you Americans are so lazy and why y'all feel like you should be at home when you could be making money. That was their motto. I'm like, girl, I need Saturday, Sunday. Well, in that industry, definitely not Saturday, Sunday, because those are big days, but I need some days off. I need Monday and Tuesday at least. Nope, they wanted you to work 7 days a week and they wanted it to be 12-hour days. But I did it because the money was so good. Oh, the money was so good. Just in tips alone, I was bringing home 200-300 a day in the tips, and then in the actual services, that would add on another 300-400. So some days I could walk out of there with $500. Like, oh yeah, I love this. But then I realized I don't have time to spend it or enjoy it or do anything with it. I'm just making it. So I did that for quite a while. Could not sustain those hours and be a mother and be a girlfriend and all those things. So I decided to switch to another nail salon. This one was a lot slower, unfortunately, and the money was definitely not as good. We had clients, we had a kind of steady flow, but not nowhere close to the one that I worked at first. And so I found myself kind of okay with what I was doing, but realizing that I'm not making enough money to really sustain the lifestyle that I like to have. So here we are back again at the drawing board of what is my business going to be. Now, I need to also preference that during this time, even before I left my corporate job, I started doing virtual assistant work here and there. Because one thing about it, I'm really good with technology. I'm really good when it comes to building websites, doing graphics, promotional graphics, promotional plans. Like I said, I love to plan. So helping other people with their business stuff is just a natural thing for me. So I'd pick up clients here and there. At this time, my mom had also become a life coach and she needed assistance with technology. So I'd help her with certain things. And then her friends would need help as well because they had no idea how to do any of the social media stuff. So I would find myself with clients here and there, and my mom always in the background. This is what you should do. This is what you should do. And I'm like, no, it's not fun. It doesn't have anything to do with beauty. It doesn't have anything to do with glitz and glamour and, dressing up and the kind of stuff I wanted to do. Fun stuff. But I kept it in my back pocket always. So those first couple of years without my corporate job, I say was kind of in the middle. Some months were struggle months. Other months were good months. I found myself as a grown woman still having to ask my mom, to help me with my bills sometimes. And that was very discouraging. I found myself having to pick up side jobs sometimes. Never really going back to a full-time job, but I would pick up a seasonal position like with Amazon and answer calls for, 3-4 months, pick up some money, pay some bills down, do it again. And the reason that I chose to do all of this at this time was because my daughter was in her last couple of years of high school. So I knew it was a time that I was about to transition into a new type of lifestyle anyway, and not have a child to take care of, little kid. So I could take more risk. So yeah, those were, those years, that's basically what I decided to do. I got lucky though, and I ended up getting a client for an online summit. And I realized that I really liked doing them. There was a structure to it, and I love anything with structure. Step by step, we do this, we do that, we do this each time, and it turns out perfect. And luckily, she loved my work and started to refer me to many other people. And so I realized that, maybe it's time to really focus more on this business. Now, ironically, during this exact same time, I was still on that roller coaster relationship, off again, on again, off again, on again. But I was kind of at a mental space of, it is what it is. I don't know if we're together. I don't know if we're not. it's time for me to start focusing on me, you know? So I went through learning more about spirituality, learning more about manifesting, learning more about who I really am. And we went through a little spat or whatever. And this time I decided when we stopped talking, it would not be wasted with me sitting at home trying to figure out how do I get this person back? What do I do? Da da da. I'm going to spend that time learning who I am. What do I really like? What do I really want? Do I even want this person? Or is it just this, I need to complete this because I started it? But is it really where you want to be? And that was the beginning of shadow work for me, and of really taking stock on the part that I played in a lot of it as well. Because I think a lot of times we just say, other people are bad in the relationship or something like that. But that saying, they only do what you let them, is so true. So I had to start thinking about the things that I allowed, why people felt they could treat me the way that they do, and take ownership of that and realize that it wasn't their fault, it was mine. Now I'm not taking all the blame, not saying that, but for my journey, my spiritual journey, it was important that I focus solely on me, my part, what I could have done differently, what I should do differently moving forward, not what they've done. That's their journey to deal with. That's their shadow work. That's their stuff to figure out. I needed to figure out Chinese's stuff. So at the same time of me realizing that maybe this virtual assistant thing is what I should be doing, and realizing that I'm worth way more than I'm accepting. With those two things happening at the same time, it was like a door opened. I don't know. Now I know it was definitely my third eye was finally in balance. Probably all of my chakras at that time were coming into balance. And I was starting to see things differently. I was starting to pray for things differently. I was starting to really manifest my dreams. And when I say things got so good that it was getting so good that I was assuming that people that were placed in my life at that time they were my soulmate. They were the one, because at this time I'm bringing in all the things that I'm supposed to have. And I found myself still not being as discerning as I should be. So that, I don't even know why I said that. That's a whole nother story, y'all. We'll probably go into that some other time. But anyway, during that journey, I learned who I really, really was and what I really, really wanted. And in the end, I can say that God began to show me situations and people for who they really were. More clearly. It wasn't like I had to figure it out. It was blatant. Like blatant in your face, like, girl, this is your friend? This is the person you're supposed to lay next to? Girl, what we doing? So once that happened, it was like a whole new world opened up for me. Once I got clear on who needed to be removed from my life and who needed to stay, what activities needed to be removed and which ones needed to stay or be improved, how I treat myself, how I talk to myself, how I manifest and stay in this state of gratitude, everything changed. Every single thing changed. I don't know if you guys have ever gone down that rabbit hole on TikTok for parallel universes, because I have. But when they say like you can timeline shift, that shit's real, y'all. That shit is so real. And I wish you guys could like get into my head to see what I see so that you can see how real it is and not just think that, oh, you're just one of those motivational people that all say that. Girl, it's real. I feel like I woke up one day and I was in a totally new life in a new timeline. All of a sudden, I was in a new state. All of a sudden, I was in a healthy, loving, amazing relationship. I was prosperous to an extent that I can't even now I can't fathom, because when I look back on where I came from and the times that I had no idea where my rent was coming from, no idea if the lights were going to be on when I went home, or no idea how, we were going to get the things that we needed, to being able to just put bills on auto pay, or hey, I want that dress and I get it, or I want that person, I get it. I don't have to say, oh, maybe next payday or maybe next month. That kind of stuff to me is like, that's like a whole nother timeline to me. Like this ain't my life. I've even told my girlfriend at times, like, I wake up and I think one day I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna be back in that old timeline, because how did this happen? Clients started coming just out of the woodwork. Um, I stopped being scared to charge the prices that I needed to charge. And then all of a sudden it was like, you're getting those 5-figure months that you thought you'd never get. Um, at one point, my goal, I remember my goal was simply to make $100 a day, 5 days a week, because at my old job, I somehow I figured out that that was equivalent. If I could make that, then that proved that I made a good decision to leave my full-time job. And if I could exceed that, then oh my God. Now I can't even imagine. I can't imagine the goal being to make just $500 a week. And that tells me that I'm on a whole nother timeline. And you see things just totally different. So that brings me into my 40s. So we did my childhood, my 20s, my 30s, and then my 40s. And that's when there's like this light, or this door that opened with this light that I finally went through. And now that I've built my first business to be successful in what I really want, Business Bestie, I want to help others to do the same thing. And that's why you see me now on YouTube, and you see me now with my Facebook group, 555 Society. And you also see Lavish Lane, because my passion, my assignment, I think from God, is to empower, motivate, and help provide the resources for women to build their own businesses. Not even just build their own businesses, but to follow their dream. What is it that you want to do with your life? I want to help other women to be able to go back to that little girl and say, I'm going to make that dream come true that we used to talk about. You remember you used to envision yourself sitting at home with that laptop in your condo with your skyline view, and you just knew that's what you're supposed to do. I'm going to be the one to make that happen for you right now. I want all of you to be able to say that to your little girl inside you. And God put it on my heart, or he gave me the vision of becoming an influencer, not a typical, influencer, because I'm not going to be on here showing y'all the bags that I buy, or the perfume that I buy, or my nice aesthetics and my morning routine and all of that stuff. Not going to say I don't have a morning routine, but just saying I'm not going to be that type of influencer, because I'm just not that type of girl. But I want to influence you to believe in yourself. I want to influence you to get those negative people and energies and things out of your life so that you can succeed. I want to influence you to go after your dream. I want to influence you to be who you know you are. Bottom line. So many plans for the future. 555 Society is my Facebook group that's going to become this huge network of women entrepreneurs supporting each other, holding each other's hand through it all, sharing our resources, our training, our things like that, but really being accountability partners for each other. That's what we're here for. And so I have a lot of things planned with that. I hope if you are an entrepreneur and you've made it this far in the video, I hope that you do join us over on Facebook. Again, it's 555 Society. And many, many plans with Lavish Lane as well. Lavish Lane is where I promote, I give women owned boutiques an opportunity to gain exposure through our virtual shopping events and our shopping mall that we are building right now. So many, many plans with that. In-person events are coming up. Um, I have an event planner who's excited to get started. And yeah, I just can't wait for you guys to see it all. But more importantly for me, this year and my continuation of my 40s is going to be all about being authentic, just being me, just showing up. Let me tell you, y'all, that ring light in my glasses is really bothering me. And I'm done with reading my notes, so I don't need them anyway. But really just showing up and being myself, not being scared to show you guys who I really am, not feeling like I have to be one of those um, YouTube influencers that you guys are used to, but just being me, being an entrepreneur, a full-time entrepreneur, and helping you to hopefully get there as well. I know over the last year, maybe 2-3 years, the entire narrative, it seems, has been around Black women becoming, um, what's the term they use? I say they like I'm that old, but uh, it's not boss babe because I know who made that term up. But basically, the narrative has been all Black girls can become girl bosses. That's what they say. A girl boss, and wear Gucci and Chanel and YSL and sell out in 30 minutes, and all of my lip gloss is gone, and make these major drops and show you some pictures of me in my pink blazer and my pink. Now I'm gonna wear my pink, y'all. I ain't talking about pink, but I'm just saying it was just this cookie cutter narrative of if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is the woman you should aspire to be, and these are the women that you should aspire to sit with, and all that it really is about is convincing these other women to follow you and then buy your lip gloss and buy your this that you put your name on and now you're a millionaire. It doesn't work that way for everybody. I'm so proud of, and I celebrate and love all of the success that the Black women have had that have been able to do that. But I think a lot of times they leave out the real meat of it all. Being an entrepreneur isn't just about taking cute pictures, traveling, creating content, and posting it for you guys to see and then selling out in 30 minutes. That's not 100% realistic for everyone. It's realistic for some, but not for majority. And I want to be that voice for just us regular old women who still are bad bitches. We still look good as hell. We still can buy designer if we want to, but it's not our brand. It's not what you have to see to trust me. I want you to trust me because of the work I've put in, because I put in some work. Not saying that they haven't, but I'm just saying all of our definitions of success will not be the same. My definition is not going to Dubai and showing you all every step of my way of what I did while I was there with my family and da da da. That's not my goal of being successful in entrepreneurship. Mine is never having to clock in for anybody because I do not like it. I will call in with the quickness. I was a bad employee when it comes to calling in, except when I got into management. I was better then. But if I'm a regular employee, I'm probably going to call in once, twice, 3-4 times a month, maybe. So that's my success. Not having to clock in and not having someone else tell me when I have to clock in, when I can take a break, or asking you, can I go to my daughter's this? Can I go on vacation? I want to do that myself. I want to tell myself if I can go because I'm a grown ass woman. That was always my problem because I'm like, I'm not asking you if I can have a day off. I'll send you an email and tell you. But I'm definitely not saying, can I? Can I? Oh, I know my grown ass can. Anyway, that's my definition of success. Being able to pay my bills and not wonder if I'm going to have it next month. Being able to see that dress on Reb Dolls and click and buy it right now. Being able to take trips to see my mom or take trips with my daughter, or take trips with my sorority sisters. That's my success. And I'm good with that. So I want to help regular old girls like me figure out what your definition of success is, and take away that imposter syndrome that you have, or that feeling of I'm not good enough because I don't look like so and so, or I don't travel like so and so, or I don't have handbags like so and so. None of that matters. None of it. Because in reality, what we really want is to be able to take care of ourselves and our families. And we want to be able to leave something for our children. Those are the things I want to focus on. So I've talked way longer than I planned on. I thought this would be a quick, like 20-minute little video, but I just started going. So you guys got a little bit extra. I hope that you made it this far. If you did, make sure you hit the like button to let me know. If you haven't already, subscribe. Definitely need some new subscribers. As you guys see, my number is low, low, low. But again, I'm not here to be the popular girl or anything like that. I'm here to help the ones that I know God is going to send to me. So those of you that made it this far, God said, this is your girl. We're in a tribe now. And that's fine with me. It'll grow however it grows. But yeah, subscribe. I don't know why she's down there yelling. Subscribe, share with your friends, share the video, whatever you can do to show some support. Join us over on 555 Society on Facebook, though. I'll put the link in the description, because we're starting some real fun things. Tonight, we're having a goal setting session, actually, where we're all going to make our goals, and then we'll hold each other accountable. I'm going to help the ladies break down those goals into actionable tasks, using my planning skills. Because I think sometimes we're good at coming up with a goal, but we're not good at mapping out how to get there. And I think that's one of my superpowers. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So yeah, my notes say I'm all done from what I can see. I took my glasses off, so I'm a little blind. But yeah, that was it. I thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I'll see you on the next one.